Hello, this is Artop again, and this is a slightly different video than the rest. I gotta shorten it. My first attempt was too long and wouldn't process, so here we go. This is a reaction to the Issac Kappy incident that's going on YouTube, which everybody knows what that should be about right now. If not, take a look on YouTube, you'll see. But the main reason why I did this is to address the subject of suicide. Now, suicide is a very serious thing, and it should never be laughed at. It shouldn't be trifled with. It is very dangerous for people, and, well, people die from it. Now, I used to be suicidal myself, I still am, and I can understand what's happening there. What I want to get to is, with suicide, you gotta be very, very careful when you're dealing with that subject and you're looking into it. Like, it's so easy to speculate, oh, someone was suicided to quiet someone or something. It's, in my mind, not worthy thing to point to. Suicide is a very serious affair. Now, things about suicide you should know. One, we start off with the mindset. The mindset is very, very, very serious. With suicide, you don't see things the same way as most people do, and most people wouldn't be able to fathom it unless they're deep within it. You're lost in your own darkness. You're lost in everything rational and logical. You're buried deep in your own sorrows, whether it be guilt, shame, or hopelessness, and it drags you right down, and it can kill your natural instinct to survive. So that's one thing to keep in strong mind. Now, there's a lot of things about suicide that I'd love to cover, but I don't have enough time. So I'll just cover certain topics. Like one, with notes. It is often believed that with a note it's saying goodbye. In actuality, it's not entirely so. Usually a note is part of the cry for help. It is asking for people to invest themselves in it if they survive, and help them. If they do not survive, it gives an idea of why they died. They often leave clues and keep things straight to the point of why they did it. Suicide brings honesty out in you. So, of course, in a lot of notes you'll get confessions to real or imagined crimes. They believe, or if it's crimes at all, or whatever sins that they committed or think they committed. And they usually are very sorry about it. They usually address family members or certain things to keep an eye on, because whether true or not, they do present clues. Now, also with suicide, when it comes to methods and locations, a lot of people think people tend to plan it out, and that's not quite true. Usually in suicide, you're caught in the emotion, you're not really thinking, and a lot of times you'll grab whatever you have right at the moment to do whatever you need to do. It could be very spontaneous, it could be slightly thought out, but a real comprehensive plan to do it, that's usually someone who's looking for an excuse not to do it and prolonging it. So that's a good thing if they plan out a long time. Usually they don't end up doing it. Now, when it comes to suicide, it's not easy to recognize. A lot of people can go about their daily lives looking like they're perfectly normal, they're perfectly fine. Nobody suspects them. They put on a good act, you could say. But deep inside, they're hurting and it's churning away. Now, it's important when you're looking for certain signs sometimes they do slip. An example of Kappy, if you watch his Periscope or listen to the reading of his letter, you'll see certain clues, like the all caps and letter, and just the look in his eyes and his demeanor in the Periscope. That spelled a lot to me and spoke volumes. See, I was in the same boat 4 times. I attempted and survived, so I know what I'm talking about. It's not easy, so you gotta be very careful when you're speculating about certain things. Suicide is a very serious thing. It's usually a dark side of depression, anxiety. It can be linked to other psychological problems as well, schizophrenia or whatever. You got to take a lot of things into account when you're dealing with people who are within suicide. Now, although they do cry for help, a lot of times, like the very act itself is a cry for help. Any letters or disappearances for too long, isolation, whatever, like, they are all signs you have to look for. You may be wrong, but it's better to err and being safe and checking it out than finding out the hard way. So when it comes to dealing with what they're dealing with, it should be taken slowly and very cautiously with a professional, because you don't know what can trigger them. You don't know if what you're saying can be making it worse, so it's always best to seek professional help or hotlines that will help you through things, help you cope, whether you're the one, helping them deal with it and trying to stop them, or whether it's them themselves, say you, and you call. It's very good to reach out to somebody or something in that lines that will get you thinking about something else or reevaluating your situation. Sometimes that would be enough, but it's very difficult. So when it comes to conspiracy theory and all that stuff, like in this case with Kappy, it is so easy to think about, like, the suiciding type of thing and that, but that can lead to dark waters, and you could be wrong in ruining a person's image by doing that. Like, it's bad enough that they ended up killing themselves. Like, the ruin the reputation is even worse, so you gotta be very careful. For telltale signs in Unirock 2, his latest video, you'll see a little comment by me that I put up that explains pretty much about suicide, the warning signs, and what to look for. It'd be very important to check that out and share that. It could help save somebody's life someday. So I decided to respond to this because, well, knowing my predicament when I went through it, it's no laughing matter. Like, it can be deadly serious, and the person who goes through it, and I can say from experience, they don't see anything else. They see the darkness, and it surrounds them on all sides, and it really pushes down on them and makes it really hard for them to cope. So when it comes to this, you gotta be very serious and take it very cautiously. Make sure, if you know someone who's in that position, you can urge them to seek help and stuff like that. Do the best you can, but I can honestly say, if you always, when in doubt, seek a professional, go to the hotlines, do what you can, but it's best to let the professionals handle it, because you could say the wrong thing or do the wrong thing and can just make it worse. So As I say, it's no laughing matter. I barely survived one attempt, the last one I did, and it really woke me up to the reality that it's not the way to go. And believe me, it's a rough thing to recover from. There's nothing worse than suicide than surviving it. It's very rough at first, but once you convince yourself everything's worthwhile for living, you can move on. But it's always good to keep in mind when it comes to stories like this that you don't want to make matters worse. Stick to the facts. Yeah, don't make assumptions. Don't sensationalize it. Don't try and make it something bigger than it's not, because it's no laughing matter. Like, when people do this type of thing, it's a very serious thing. They went through a lot of trouble. So, sorry I have to make this so short and have to go so fast, but if I wanted the process, I have to make this quick. So, I wish I could cover more on this, but there's a lot of good resources out there. Just take a look, talk to hotlines, whatever. They will help you in anything you need to understand, even if you're just curious. So, that's my 2 cents, and I hope you learned from this. And just remember, take this type of subject very seriously, because someone's life is on the line. This is our top, signing off.